Spiritual pussy
enthusiasts.
pussy
enthusiast.
I am everything a God is and a God is not.
All right. The movies that they put out for the concept of social engineering to keep the powers that be in 1 year was all planned and all designed and all had a purpose. Remember, because you would say, well, the logical mind would say, well, how could they all just get together and make this mass conspiracy and say, you do this movie, you do that, this movie, you do this movie. All right, I'm going to show you how they do that. There's a movie called The Player. Tim Robbins, Whoopi Goldberg. It actually has an ensemble cast. The Player. And I don't know if you can where you're going to catch it. It's not on Netflix. I have it on DVD because I like the movie, but I have over 4,000 something DVDs, 5,000 DVDs. But try to get The Player, and you may be able to find it on cable somewhere. And in the movie, Tim Robbins is a movie exec, and they show you basically how the process of movies are made. And they drop some statistics. They basically, who is all about getting a green light for the movie. And studios, they said, makes maybe 4 or 5 movies a year. So if there, let's say, 20 people, then 10 people, then 5 people, then 2 to 1 person, we already said about 35 people in it. All 35 people do not have to be in the conspiracy loop. The one person at the top finds out from, let's just say, because you niggas don't know nothing else, the Illuminati, the Bilderberg Group, or whatever, what the agenda is. So that one person at the top, the head dog who's in the loop, says, they say we're going to make slave movies for the year 2014. So then he tells the 5 people under him, okay, this is what we're trying to get. We're trying to get a slavery movie, and we're trying to get a slavery freedom movie, or we're trying to get a slavery authentic movie, or a slavery movie about a book or something that's in existence, or we're trying to get a Butler movie. So you guys go look. So the 5 guys say, okay, it's still an abstract idea, but the intention of a slavery movie is there. So the 5 guys say, look, we need a slavery movie, and we need it to be about a guy who rescues a girl or saves someone. He was almost free and goes back and he does this and he gets that, he gets that. So we don't know a script or whatever. So then they tell the 10 guys, you 10 guys, you guys, this is what we want. You need to start hearing scripts. So basically, so far, we got the one guy who knows the conspiracy, the agenda, the Django thing that would eventually be, that they're looking for, or the 12 years a slave that they're eventually looking for. It's only an idea so far. It's trickling down the idea, and as it goes down the chain, the idea starts developing more. So the 10 guys are now listening, talking to agents. They're telling the agents, we need a script about this, we need a script about that, we need a script about this. So all the agents in Hollywood know they're looking for a script. And then the 5 guys are now waiting for the agents to call back. So the 5 guys are sitting there. Now, they don't know what's happening up here and why they want it. They just know only one thing. That's what the studio is going to put their money behind. And I have my job, so I'm looking for this because somebody in the higher-ups want to make this movie. They want to bankroll it. So now, you got the 5 dudes who's not in on the conspiracy, but they're sitting there because now the agents are saying, either we're going to write a script for you. They said, well, we want James Cameron to do it. James Cameron, write a script. He'll write a script. Or they'll say, guess what? Quentin Tarantino already has a script. Oh, really? Tell him to sit in. Let's see what it is. It's called The Django Unchained, and it's about this, that, the other. So the 5 guys say, all right, let's bring the script up to the higher ups. Everybody gets the script, everybody's reading the script, and from the higher ups, they start changing it. Well, we like the girl, but we want a darker girl. We like this scene, but we want that out. We like this, but we want that out. So Quentin is what they call rewriting the script. Why is he rewriting it? Because the guy up here keeps telling them, make what I want. Make what I want. And he knows because he's in on the conspiracy. So by the time it gets down to these 5 guys, it doesn't sound like it's a conspiracy. It just sounds like, I don't think they're going to go for it. I'll tell the higher ups, but I think they want the girl changed, and I think they want that. Just sounds like they're working. So finally they got the script. Finally they won. He took that out. The studio wouldn't go for that. They won't budget that. They don't have enough in the budget for that, so on and so forth. And the script gets green lighted, and now they have, which seems like a random good movie that everybody was creatively working on, but really only one guy was really giving the agenda back down the pipe. No, yes, and no. Once he got the basis for what he wanted, which seems like random and creative, he just tailor-fitted it to the agenda. That's why Spike Lee, when he said, I tried to get a script passed, I keep getting rewrites and keep doing it over. Because Spike Lee, on the other hand, nobody's trying to get Spike Lee to do anything from the conspiracy level. They know he's going to come from the radical level, and they know they need to appease that. Why? Rewards and punishment. So they have to make it seem like for all the shit they do in the movies, make you wearing dresses and all that shit, they have to give you a reward. Spike Lee, do the right thing. John Singleton, they shot Ricky. Those are the rewards. But they're not looking to get an agenda from them. All they're looking to do is make sure they don't go too far off the agenda. So you can have a movie set in the background of a college, as long as you're telling black people, take your ass to college. That's the way to get out. So John Singleton's movie, Higher Learning, as long as you understand, this is higher learning, motherfucker. As long as you understand, this is higher learning, motherfucker. And so no matter what happens on the campus, you kind of can say the background is this is where you should be. So long as those elements are there, that's when they eventually get green light. That's why the black dudes always complain. They always telling me to rewrite the script or telling me there ain't no budget to do all of that. You know what I'm saying? So Malcolm X becomes a reward, but then you hear later on that Spike Lee says plenty of times, we had thousands of hours of Malcolm X's speeches that had to get cut because they're going to just give you general. So that's how that works. So we need to see, once you understand that, you got to understand this is how these conspiracies can work. Because they did this movie and then they did this movie. These are unofficial trilogies. And how did they do all this year? How did they do Armageddon and that other movie with Morgan Freeman? The same themes. You'll see the same themes during the year. How is this happening? If these are two random studios is doing a movie, they'll do this and so, because that's how it works. There is a conspiracy, but at the higher levels. All right. So Django Unchained, that was the first to set off this social programming. This movies to really these were psychological attacks. These movies, and I'm talking about Django, 12 Years a Slave, The Butler, and to a lesser degree Mandela and Nativity, all in the same year. Django Unchained is a phenomenon they do in the powers that be. Every once in a while, they'll put a pure, authentic, conscious movie. In this particular case with Django, a radical movie. The conscious movie of that time was The Matrix. They do this to test the consciousness of the people, to see, because they inundate you with so much mind control and suppress so much of your consciousness. What they're really scared of, to see if the consciousness is brewing into something that can trigger it, and all of a sudden the party is over. So while they're doing this mind control, they know it's unnatural to your essence. The mind control, as I said, black people were doing were trying to be in collusion with your essence, to merge with your essence. Therefore, there was nothing that was suppressed. You were still expressing yourself even in the culture. Now here, your true self is suppressed. Therefore, they feel it's boiling up till it blows over. So with Django, what they were able to do on screen was release some steam. And I'm going to get into that. So Matrix, they'll put out a conscious movie just to see where people's minds are. And sure enough, it was. Everybody, dead or alive. I know there's something more to that. They were at least trying to think of something more. Forget just conscious people. Even dead people were trying to say, what did that really mean? Which shows you that your mind is always there, still working. You know that there's something hidden. But we're not trained to look at the entire world as something you must decode. In fact, when I used to decode movies on MySpace, you had a nigga who was a lecturer started telling people decoding shit is folly. Decoding shit is for the birds. What's that going to do? Be more dark and Satan and all this shit. I'm like, you stupid fuck. Spiritually, everything you get, you must decode. This whole matrix that you're in is for decode. So decoding a movie is just an extension, or decoding your dreams, what you must do. If you don't have a skill in decoding, then you're not doing nothing spiritually to be sitting there talking about something spiritual. So your mind naturally understands is there to decode. That's what mythology was. Mythology is there for you to decode the symbols, and each symbols has layered meanings as you go to different levels in your consciousness. It is all about decoding. Your mind is there to be a sleuth. That's why you came down here to decode the mystery. That's why they called it a mystery system, because you were there to deal with clues and decode. That's your natural mind. So even dead people, when they was forced with this information that was obviously some hidden stories throughout the Matrix, they naturally went back to their natural decoding, which showed motherfuckers, white folks, that this shit ain't going nowhere. It's here, which we know it's not. But this ain't going nowhere. It's here. If the wrong series of shit comes up, it's going to activate some shit. So they better stay on their fucking mind control game, which they did. That's why in Matrix 2, they gave the answers. Neo is it. Neo is Jesus. Christ is the way. They did everything, but they did say he was Jesus as the one. In the first one, they said you're my personal savior, and more that I forgot from that movie. But basically, Morpheus went to the one who was enlightening you, to the one who was a believer. They said the word, Phil Valentine broke it down in one of his breakdowns, the number of the time they said, I believe, which was another way of giving the dead people the answers that started to raise the questions. Self-contained mind control. So they put that out to see where you were at in your level of consciousness. And then they shut it back down. So Django was one of those movies. For two reasons. Now, Quentin Tarantino's agenda was simple. I figured this one out easy. Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez, who did Once Upon a Time in Mexico and what's them scary movies, the vampire movies where they with Quentin Tarantino and George Clooney. Y'all know the one. Cheech, and there was a pyramid in it. And okay, anyway, y'all know who Robert Rodriguez is. He did all of those Spy Kids movies. He's a pretty good Mexican director, and he directs a lot of his Mexican folk in the push good enough. Him and Quentin Tarantino were friends in NYU film school, I believe. They also had a third friend, and his name was Spike Lee. So they were on the comeuppance together. Spike Lee, of course, went his do the right thing way. Quentin Tarantino likened himself as a writer first before a director. And he wrote a few scripts before he even started directing. True Romance. And he wrote the shit with Mickey and Mallory, Natural Born Killers, which I can tell you about that as well. Losing battery. And he wrote about Natural Born Killers, which I can tell you about that as well. I'm going to tell you something about that as well. So now, okay, so Spike Lee publicly has it out, and rightfully so, and I deal with Quentin Tarantino in my book as well, with Spike Lee. Spike Lee has it out with Quentin Tarantino about his uses of the word nigger. And of course, Sam Jackson comes to the table and tells him, it's okay, nigga. You a real nigga. Go on, do that nigga shit, motherfucking nigga. He's justified. On a certain level, I get that too. I don't think it's out of consciousness, and I don't think I would be telling Quentin Tarantino that, even though I know the science on the word nigga. wouldn't even tell Quentin Tarantino that, but he did. So Spike Lee is always vocal. Every movie he's vocal on him, getting at this nigga. Jackie Brown got at him. Quentin Tarantino's not really saying nothing back to him, just making his movies. Now, in the movie world, to the studio execs, which every director, director primarily, is trying to gain power from them. Because remember, they have an agenda at the top, right? So that must trickle down. So how does that manifest in the dynamic of all the heads as it goes down when he's in a conspiracy? It manifests as just resistance from the studio. Well, I wanted to put some horses in it. This doesn't go against what the agenda was, where they found out in their little club, their little secret society. So
Message. New message.
it doesn't. It goes against the agenda.
Email.
So what does that mean?
Email.
Oh shit! Who's been texting me? Nope. All right. So it looks like conflict. You know, I want horses, and there's no horses. If it goes against what's in the agenda, it just comes back as resistance. But they say Quentin Tarantino, based upon what his movies gross, no motherfucking resistance. They basically let him do what he wants to do in the movie. So basically, if he's greenlighted for a movie that's a part of the agenda, Kill Bill's probably not part of no agenda. They just do that. They make money. But certain movies that when they get in them Oscars, not all of them, but most of the movies, especially for nigga movies, they're getting them fucking Oscars. That's some shit that came down from the pipe to put money in, to represent, and to tell you that it's Oscar worthy. Shit you don't even give a fuck about, but then they tell you it's Oscar worthy or should be nominated or whatever. All right, so Quentin Tarantino never really answered Spike in a big detailed way. Now, so Spike finally gets. I realized for the psychological impact what Quentin Tarantino was doing when he did Django, because like I said, he's not sophisticated. In fact, he told you he's not sophisticated in that movie he did. When he did a movie with Robert Rodriguez, that double feature, he did Planet X, and he did that car driving movie, the one with Rosario Dawson and Sidney Poitier's daughter. It was a double feature. But in the movie Planet X or Planet Terror, the one that was with Robert Rodriguez, the zombie movie, he also was in that movie. And he was in the elevator. He said something that was key, and I know what he was speaking to when he said it, and I'm gonna tell you why. He said to one of them girls, I believe it was a black girl too, or the Puerto Rican girl. He was playing the cop. He said, "Look, you look like." No, he said it to Rosario. He said it to a white girl. He said, "Let me tell you something." He said something, and I'm paraphrasing. He said, "All of that fancy pants this, fancy pants that." He said, "I'm not into all of that." He said, I'm gonna show you something that's real simple. I'm gonna shoot you right here, and it's over and it's done with. That fancy goddess look, that's over in 1 second. I said, I know exactly what he's speaking to. He's basically saying, in my movies, I don't do all that metaphysical shit. He said, I'm gonna get straight at you, which he has. He's gotten at you, especially in Pulp Fiction, fucking the guy, letting Ving Rhames get fucked.